children who went to Mendez. But today we invited some very special guests with us who I'm going to call up to introduce themselves to you.
Mr. Kara is talking to the current students. He is telling them about what the time capsule is, the fact that it was put in place 25 years ago in 1993, and it's been sitting here in the hallway in this locker since then. It's one of those things that unless you knew, I know when I was here visiting as a parent, I don't know that I was aware of it, certainly not right away. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they put in here. It wasn't sealed very well, but it was said, I guess there was a key that did lock it, so it was locked. Shornthorpe, who we talked to earlier, his name was on the key as a note to say, let me know when it's time to do it. So it says, let me read this. I know you've been looking at the sign if you've been watching us live at all. It says, "Do not disturb. Inside this locker is the year of 1993. A time of change in lifestyles of the people in the town you live in now. A time to remember by looking through everyday things from our time. You can explore this time by opening this locker only after June 17th, 2018, 25 years after the closing of this locker." So it's exciting to see what the seventh graders in 1993 thought was going to be important to have here in this locker. I'm hoping that there'll be some kind of newspaper that will tell us what was going on at the time, June of 1993. There was nothing that I can think of big, but who knows? It wasn't a big election year. It was an odd year. So probably some clothing items, probably some toys from that time period. So we're gonna see. We're waiting. And if you know, going live is always a little more difficult, not quite sure what the timing is of things. But as I said, we'll have Mr. Kara, who is the current principal, Mr. Adams, our superintendent, hopefully some other dignitaries. We already spoke with Claudia Bennett, who is the assistant principal here at the Mendez School. Her daughters went through this school. We also have with us, working on the live stream today, we have Allison Rose, who is behind the camera. Her sister Michelle is here helping as well. They both went through this school. We then also have Paul Bowden, who I believe may have also gone through this school because he and his family are from Ashland. And then we have a few other people here helping with the shoot today. It's always fun and interesting going live. You're not quite sure the timing of things. So you know what? I'm going to be right back. We're going to go check in what's happening. I don't know if you can follow me. You walk through here.
You guys can walk through. It's fine. A woman. She was like maybe.
So they're introducing, I guess, kids from the class that are here.
So there's no camera in there right now, or is that?
You're good.
Connor has one.
You can wave if you go by if you want.
Yeah, right now we're just trying to kill time. Oh, the mics are live,
We should
so.
have had those. We should have done those all in here, because they could have live streamed it, and we could have done it right here.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were gonna do, but that's okay.
There's a lot of time.
That's fine. I'm not gonna respond to her.
Do you want to do more audio, or do you want me to? I mean, I feel weird not doing audio,
Yeah.
but
Talk to Mr. Adams.
What'd I do?
it's unfortunate that we're not getting what's going on in there in the live stream.
They're gone. Yeah, it's live.
Okay. Okay, so are they going to be coming out? Okay.
Alright, can you stand behind me and just periodically reload the Facebook app and check to make sure it's going?
You're good. Come on.
Yeah, can I get Oh. Where is it?
We're not up yet, right? We're still on this.
We're like on a giant wide, yeah, so you can go if you want.
I just want to check something.
Yeah, I'll go back into this. Locker number 130.
Who were members of the Mendez School during that time when it was a grade 4 through 7 middle school. It was called the Mendez Middle School. So if we can have our special guests come join me up here, we'd like you to introduce yourself and maybe even tell the kids a little bit about what your favorite thing was that you did in Mendez back then, and maybe what you're doing now quickly before we go and give everybody what they're waiting for.
Hi everybody, my name is Mike Ciccarella. I grew up here in Ashland, came to Mendez School. I would say my favorite thing through all of the Ashland schools was probably gym class. I was a big fan.
PE, physical education.
PE, my apologies. I still live in Ashland now, and I manage an Italian restaurant. If anybody wants some good meatballs, come on by, okay?
All right, my friends, we should be listening, right?
It's called Tommaso Trattoria. It's in Southborough.
My name's Megan Cox, formerly Megan Henderson. I was in 4th grade in 1993. My daughter Nora is in 4th grade now. So I grew up in Ashland. We still live in Ashland. I don't think I'm ever going to leave. I think I would second Mike's PE being my favorite thing when I was here.
My name is Liz Secatori. I was formerly Liz Thorson when I was here in 4th grade in 1993. And now I have Danny and I don't know if Joey's out there, Secatori. They're in 4th and 5th grade now. And I'm a teacher at the Warren School. And my favorite thing, I guess I would say was Kids Night Out, just like you guys still have.
Hi guys, I'm lucky enough to know a lot of you already. My name is Mr. Graham. I'm a teacher at Ashland High School and I coach the boys lacrosse team there as well. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys coming down the road in a few more years. When I was here at Mendez, my favorite thing was my 4th grade class with Mr. Antonellis.
Hi guys, my name is Marco Raffo. In 93, I was in 6th grade and I grew up here and I came back and I live here now. And I got a special nephew here. Is Braden Mead here? There he is. Braden Mead. But yeah, I would say, like Liz said, I think my favorite's Kids Night Out because I like to dance. And if it was like me and like a circle of girls around me, I was happy.
Hey, friends.
Hi, my name is Sean Thorpe. I was here same time as Mr. Graham over there. I wish I had something cool to plug like Mike Chick, but I don't. Yeah, I think my favorite thing actually was Mr. Connor's class, and he's still here today. I can honestly say that a lot of what I learned in his class in 4th grade got me inspired about learning more about English and writing and skills I still use today. So thank you, Mr. Connor. And that was really helpful to me.
I do not live in Ashland anymore, but I'm not far away. I have lots of cousins that have come through here. But my children at one point came to the school, and the best thing I remember about coming to this school is Miss Rosenthal. To this day, I remember that woman, and I speak fondly of her. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but no excuse is a good excuse, and a good excuse is good for nothing. So I'm happy to be here, and hello to everyone.
Thank you to all of you for coming. Before we go open the locker, I want to read to you an email that was sent to me from one of the classmates of the folks we have with us today. My maiden name is Jennifer Carboni, and I attended Ashland schools from 2nd grade, which was from 1987 to 1988. I graduated from the Mendez Middle School in 7th grade, which was 1993. We had a great principal at the time, Mr. Apicella. He was strict, but also personable. I think the class of 1998 will always remember him for many reasons, but two stand out to me. One is that he always went to the speaker and said this line none of us will ever forget: be kind to one another. I think you may hear that every morning from Mrs. Bennett. It was a staple of our existence at Mendez Middle School, and I still use it to this day. Second was that 7th grade class always went to Washington, D.C. for a week, and Mr. Apicella accompanied every class. We were a large and very loud class that was infamous for our shenanigans. After our week in D.C., he said the bald spot on the back of his head became larger, and he would never go with the class again. Poor Mr. Apicella. This is really the backstory to the time capsule, because I believe it's what fueled his decision to make the time capsule. We were most likely driving him nuts at the end of the year, and I remember him going from room to room collecting items that were causing problems in the classroom, like keychain-style super soakers. I remember baseball caps going in from kids that weren't listening, and his answer was, "Oh well, it's going in." I remember looking in the locker where it was going to stay for 25 years. I remember the plaque going up and having no clue what 25 years of life meant after leaving Mendez Middle School. I fondly remember my days at Mendez Middle School, as they truly did a great job giving us positive things to do, like the infamous Kids' Night Out, which was nights that the school had an old-fashioned dance and a hallway full of activities to do. All I can say to the students here today is that 25 years go by in a flash. What is important is the person you grow up to be and the person that you are to others. Thank you, and be kind to one another. I hope you enjoy getting a peek into what life was like for a 7th grader in 1993. Jennifer Carboni Roberts. So we were looking for how we were going to open the locker, and today we found this envelope. We found it today, friends. And it says, keys to locker number 130, not to be opened until June 17th, 2018 by either Joe Apicella or Sean Thorpe, grade 7 class representative. Luckily, we have Sean Thorpe with us today. So Sean, here's the key. Let's go open this time capsule. Boys and girls, you want to let the secrets inside?
So we are now outside of the locker. We are ready. We have one last bit of information. What do we need to do?
So we found this key today. We were searching for how we were going to open this locker, and we found the key underneath a bunch of other keys, and it says, keys to locker number 130, not to be opened until June 17th, 2018 by either Joe Apicella, the former principal, or Sean Thorpe, or the current principal. So luckily, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, Sean Thorpe sent me an email because he knew this was going to be happening, and he asked if he could come, and we said, of course, and we never knew that his name was going to be the official opener of the locker. So I'll let you talk to Sean.
Okay. Sean, are you ready for this?
I have no recollection of what's inside that locker. So I'm hoping it's interesting things, trapper keepers and super soakers, lots of neon stuff, but it could be a pile of dust. We don't know. It really could be anything in there, so we'll find out.
Okay, shall we do this?
Let's see.
The locker's all yours.
Key.
You can take a guess.
The silver one. The silver one.
Silver one? All right.
You got to remember how to use the lockers. There we go. Up, and there we go.
Oh my.
And we're opening it.
Lots of dust, Sean. Lots of dust.
But real stuff.
Lots of dust, some real interesting things.
Okay.
Shall we
I think
take
we should
things
probably
out
take
one
the
by
things
one?
out, put it into the put it
right.
so we can show the kids.
Wow.
Okay. Lots of dust.
We're not going to be able to identify all this stuff. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
All right.
Hi there. We're looking to dismiss William Harding.
This appears to be a DARE wristband. DARE, what was DARE stand for again?
Drug abuse resistance education.
That's it. Yeah, we have one of those here.
We're gonna take this stuff in and show it to the kids inside. So should we just
watching
pull it out?
right now.
They're watching it. Yeah.
They're watching
Okay.
and live stream is
Okay,
happening
awesome.
right now.
Do-rag from, that's very 90s. Oh, this is not
Okay.
really appropriate for children. So I'm going to show it this way, but there's a hat that we had from that time.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's interesting that got in there.
Well, as we said inside,
Realize these
things
were seventh
confiscated.
graders.
Things were confiscated.
Right, things were
I wrote it in there.
confiscated,
So yeah, here's a painter cap from Ashland from that time. I guess painter caps were stylish then. Another DARE T-shirt.
I think DARE was a very big program in the 90s in regards to talking about drugs and not using drugs. I know Officer Mignani was big here in the DARE program.
Let's see.
Another T-shirt.
Oh, a Math Counts T-shirt, and it does. Math counts. There you go. Let's see.
Lots of dust.
Lots of dust. A Coca-Cola bottle from the time, which looks actually relatively similar to a Coca-Cola bottle.
I don't know that the Coke Classic has changed much since then.
Let's see. Hand puppet here that was. There's a whole story here that I'm not. I'll give it to you to
It will
read
read
as we
that
look
later,
in.
but it looks like a puppet from AP, so
Huh. Yeah, this
from
says
the assistant principal.
this is the original DUSO puppet, developing understanding of self and others, used by Mr. Heaton, a guidance counselor, to this grade 7 class when they were in kindergarten and grade 1. DUSO was a group guidance program, discussion groups for Mr. Heaton, the assistant principal. So this was the original puppet that he used to talk to kids way back then.
Here is a. We used to have chalkboards back then. Do the kids still have the chalkboards?
No, not really.
Really? Okay, so this is a chalkboard eraser.
And that was always the fun part, getting to clean the chalkboard erasers.
Oh, wow, that's really
This is the thing. Here's a Michael Jordan basketball card from the time. Let's put that right here.
We'll have to look that up and unpack it.
Oh, nice. Pride in Motion. This is great. This is an old Celtics bumper sticker.
I think there's a delay. Yeah, there's a delay.
Yeah, that was.
We just heard you laughing, guys.
Let's see. Bunch of cassettes. You guys, the
Someone
kids
made
in there
some
probably have no
mixtapes.
idea what this is.
A mixtape.
So yeah, here's a cassette. We'll see what it is later, if anyone has a cassette player. Here is, this is from my class's class dinner from that year. I don't know if you guys still do a class dinner, but they always used to do, 7th grade would have a class dinner at the end of the year.
We started up the 5th grade dinner this year, back again, after all this time.
I'm listed as a student presenter with my name spelled wrong, so that's about right.
That's always memorable to keep.
You guys have some VHS players here because we have a couple of cassettes. Boston Celtics tape from the time. And this is cool. This is the 1993 student-faculty basketball game and randomly middle school wrestling. So that's on there. Let's see. Oh, this is really interesting because they just made this into a movie.
Oh, wow.
But this is actually to me. This is nice. This was given to me from my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Heaton. Wrinkle in Time, which is pretty cool. And it was written. She sent it to have me look at. She has a note in here for. I'll read later. That's really interesting. Let's see. Building English skills. So
You should give that to Mr. Graham.
this is a book. Back in the 90s, we had books. They were with paper and hardcovers and such. So that's that. More cassettes. More cassettes. Let's Oh, this is very 90s. Got get it off the right.
Get some of the dust off
This
first.
is a troll doll, which were wildly popular in the early 90s. Here's a dollar bill from that time. We used to use cash back then to pay for things, goods and services and such. Yeah. A very small, what do they call these? A kashi bar? Kushi bar?
ball.
Yeah.
Those are still around. It's interesting how some of these things are still around and others aren't.
Kind of like us.
Yeah.
This is very cool. You probably know this guy's wife, but Clinton Gore sticker from, or a pin from the mid 90s. Bunch of notes. These look like some predictions, so we can take photos of these later and put them.
We'll go through them and see what the predictions were.
Or I'm not quite sure. We can
let's
take a
see.
look at that.
This one says, keep smiling, love Jenna. Jennifer Teller says, I'm still talking. I hope everyone has a dope time at school, from Robert Waynon.
There was definitely some different language used
Yes,
back then.
absolutely.
I'm seeing.
Absolutely.
I was going to say I'm seeing the word dope a number of times, and it's all meaning good.
Some Skybox basketball
Some
cards.
Skybox basketball cards, in super neon looking, which is very early 90s.
Collector's choice. Oh, we've got a Harold Carmichael football card, and then I'm not really sure who the hockey player is either. It is John McLean.
That seems to be more personal than Facebook Live would want. Here are some dog tags. Not quite sure, but they are Jackie Young's dog tag. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you can be sure that when you put this in place, you had no idea that Facebook and social media and all this live streaming would even be happening as you would reveal what was inside.
Yeah, I thought we'd have flying cars and stuff, but didn't expect Facebook, so got that one wrong. This is a muscle action figure, and I
remember those.
Yeah.
I do remember those, yep.
This is a newspaper from June 17th, 1993, and on the newspaper, this is actually the principal of the middle school at the time, Joe Apicella. And this is him on the, it's Milford Legion coach Joe Apicella won't have to worry about qualifying for the Legion playoffs this summer, so his team won. So that's nice.
So this is actually a rap. This is a rap that I imagine one of your classmates wrote.
Oh, please do a live performance.
Do you remember a classmate named Cole Porter?
Well, this is a Cole Porter song. Another
Porter's
the artist.
show.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, you're
this
showing
is
your
not-
age.
I am.
Yeah.
So I suppose
Great
I'm wrong.
musician.
It's not a rap after all, huh? It's
This is a book by Mark
Cole
Twain.
Porter. Okay.
Let's see.
Younger than I look.
Oh, this is interesting. This is a test we used to take in the library class around the Dewey Decimal System, which was how you would find different books and things at the time.
So the library
Some more
was down here
Dare.
in those days.
Yeah.
The library was room 13.
So
Here's another
much
booklet
bigger
about-
library.
About Dare. And this is interesting. Officer Joe Mignani put his card in here.
Oh, very good.
Joe?
Cool.
I'll have to let him know that. He's now on our board of selectmen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a juvenile officer at the time.
So I think right now we've got a whole bunch of newspapers that are at
Yeah.
the bottom, and then
You want to get some more real stuff?
we can see what's there. I think that maybe we can bring some of these things in to show the kids that live as well, so they can see it.
Sure. Rapid fire. This is kind of interesting.
Oh, Mac, yeah.
A original Apple
Pin.
pin from the old logo. Other stuff. This is the JCPenney's catalog of the year.
So that's how we used to order clothes, not online.
That's fine. So like, that was considered fashionable in 1993. So
The rugby shirts.
the rugby shirts are huge. Oh
about a comic book. The Superman comic book is on sale. An ad for someone to go out and buy a new comic.
So this is the headline from the newspaper on Monday, June 20th, 1993. And as the Bulls captured the title. Let's see. Another Clinton bumper sticker, Clinton Gore. Labor support.
The students' edition of Johnny Tremaine. Maybe they were reading that in class. Mendez Middle School attendance report for June 14th, 1993.
This is the comic book where Superman died.
Oh, wow.
What happened that year?
That's probably worth a lot of money, Sean.
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
Here lies Earth's greatest hero.
I think we're finding ways that we can raise some money for the schools here.
January 1993, the issue that Superman died. And if those who are wrestling fans, boys and girls, if you're wrestling fans, now you can see what the old wrestlers used to look like, because there's a wrestling superstars. Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. That's who I used to watch. Mr. Adams will appreciate this. The two of the greatest basketball players of all time, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Great one.
From the Summer Olympics from that year.
Yeah, and here's the TV Week that used to come in the newspaper. We used to live by this in my house when I was a kid.
Oh, with the up-and-coming performer
So
Paul McCartney.
if you didn't get the TV guide,
you
you
got the
used
TV Week.
the one in your newspaper.
And we were talking earlier about the Dallas Cowboys, who had a great run back in the 90s. Troy Aikman and the Dallas. Another one for Mr. Adams, I think. He's a huge Cowboys fan. Everybody has their faults. One of the greatest television shows of all time, Cheers. Last call for Cheers.
Filmed right
Yeah,
here in Boston.
Boston. It's a Life magazine with all the folks from Cheers on it.
We, as the 7th graders, we'd all go down to DC, and this was, I think every class would take a photo at the Capitol building.
Still do.
Pretty special.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. We put it up at the high school now as they enter as freshmen. We get them, and then the seniors.
So
have
Mr.
their-
Adams, come here and tell us about the picture and what they do now.
So currently we take the photo from the Washington D.C. trip as 8th graders, and we send it up as they matriculate into the high school. We send the photo up to the high school, and each senior class that's coming in, or as they become seniors, we take their 8th grade photo, we hang it in the main office, so the 8th graders, they can see what they look like as 8th graders on their trip. Yeah, as seniors. Yeah, it's great.
There's some incredible fashion going on in this. I didn't see it. But it's, this in and of itself is a pretty good time capsule.
Absolutely.
Of what it looked like to be in 1993. A lot of
scrunchies going on.
I wish it wasn't black and white, because the neon in this thing would be incredible.
Okay, what else do we have?
Well, this is just something that the students had written to say who was there, so there's some names that are probably familiar to some people. Melissa Sanacandro was here. Sean Thorpe, his signature.
Cool, right?
Todd Klickman. I see the name Chris Carlson. Josh Adler. Jackie Ryan was here. Molly Harris. Christine Onion. So Kerry Giangrande. Ariana Nikki Nickerson. So some of these were students from way back. So I think we got some newspapers. You want to head in and be able to maybe answer some questions from some kids before it's time for them to get back to class?
Sure.
All right.
A big stack of newspapers here.
Stack of newspapers.
I think that's about everything.
Awesome.
Well, we're going to wrap up our live broadcast today. Thank you, Mr. Kara. Thank you, Sean.